People watching literally from around the world are here for this Raincast. Let's bring them out right now. You know him from The Tudors, The Originals, and Royally After After. But we know him as King Henry II of France in Reign. Please welcome first Torrance Coombs. God, that was frightening. That was amazing.
Quick correction, I did not play King Henry. He's coming up next. I played Bash.
Oh my gosh. I forgot the lead-in. The illegitimate son of King Henry II. There we go. Oh my gosh. Thank you for correcting me, Torrance. Read that wrong. But that was startling. It looked like with the shadows that it was like some sort of beast, some sort of just like hairy beast coming in.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Very nice. All right. You set up the next person perfectly. He played, or it's coming up. But next up, he played Haldir in the Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers. We know him from Legend of the Seeker and Spartacus. Please welcome next Stefan Craig Parker.
Oh, you got
what? That was a video effect. Very expensive.
Now everyone, you set the bar, Torrance. Now everyone's got to just do some weird close-up in their camera of something odd. Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
Your face tune is set too aggressively there, Craig.
Sorry.
only
going on.
Only in Zoom panels do you get this kind of experience, this once-in-a-lifetime experience of things coming at the camera. Let's bring our next gentleman out. You know him from Entourage and such films as Prom, 21 and Over. He starred as Leith in Reign. Let's hear it for Jonathan Keltz.
I'm trying to smoke bomb in here, but it's not really working.
Is that like one of those expunger things? Hold that up so we can see it a little better there.
It's
yeah. Yeah, you're cleansing the space.
Exactly. Cleansing the space, smoke bombing in, whatever. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Jonathan. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Torrance joined us for the originals. We have another repeat virtual experience cast member coming up. You saw him in our previous Star Trek panel because you know him from the series as Leland in Star Trek Discovery. Also Shadowhunters, The Tudors as well, and Night of the Living Dead films. Sir Francis Bryan, let's hear it for Alan Van Sprang.
Torrance, you would have made such a great King Henry. I love that so much. I was like crying.
Waiting to come out.
It's like, you work so hard on these intros, and then you just decide to skip as Sebastian Bash de Poitiers, the illegitimate song, and you jump right to the bolded King Henry II of France. Like
you're just trying to keep the flow. It's
like
all good,
like a fool. Now, gentlemen,
now on is just like the absolute anti-hype. Just introduce everybody incorrectly always.
Well, and it would be fun to see like who is politely just like, I'm not going to say anything,
he
or
just swallows it and accepts like, well, you see they're uncomfortable for the whole panel because the intro was wrong.
Yeah.
What's great is the fans let me hear it, so don't worry if you feel like, you know what I mean, like nobody noticed, like it's fine if you watch the stream afterwards. And I love these fans. We've done 60 of these things. They're like, boo Mike, boo, get a new moderator in here, this guy sucks.
No, Mike, you're killing it. No,
Culpepper next time. All right,
what's that, Alan?
You introduced me as Culpepper.
Done. Well, what's funny, people always ask like, which character would you prefer to play in the series? That's actually one of the questions coming up, so maybe we're already sort of setting the stage. Yeah. I want to kick things off before we get into Reign. I just want to. This always comes up from fans. They are curious about what shows you're binging, what hobbies you picked up. We're all kind of stuck in this similar situation together, different versions of it. But we've all been quarantining in our homes for a while, and usually the question just comes about like, what have you been up to? But we have a very specific question from Bettina Broel. They want to know the weirdest thing you have done since social distancing and quarantine began. Craig went instantly bright red.
No, I'm just thinking about Torrance and the weird, crap he gets up to anyway. A lot weirder this time.
I think Torrance is also frozen right now a little bit.
He's either frozen or just really judging the question.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Now we
Torrance.
can. Oh, and you're back.
I've been warned.
Alan's having a blast.
I'm losing my mind watching Torrance now.
I'm telling you, Alan. We talked about it before, and this is the charm of these panels. We might never get to anything Rain, but folks can say they just saw Torrance walking around his home.
Exactly. What you don't know is he's doing
in
that
stop
weird
motion
thing right now. Right this second, that really weird thing is going on. We just can't.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Torrance, are you back?
I've been here the whole time, so I can. Apparently, the issue has been broadcasting myself to the world.
Oh, I can't.
Torrance, sometimes it helps if you actually like stop and start your video really quickly. It sort of allows the Wi-Fi to catch up. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Let's keep it going. Where's everybody? Craig, where are you calling in from specifically? It's fun to see like where everybody is. Los Angeles, right? Hollywood. And there we go. And anything biggest sort of hobby you've taken up, or something new that you've taken up, or weirdest thing?
I don't know. It's all been very weird, but I got 2 little rescue cats a month or so ago, because what I realized was my level of talking to myself had got so extreme that the neighbors were starting to hear me and question whether I was quarantining or not. So now I have these 2 cats. It's perfectly normal. I'm just talking to them all day long. So, but yeah, basically just eating so much butter, drinking a vast amount, and watching endless television. But I've literally run out of television now. There is nothing left I want to watch except Rain.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a fun one to go back and rewatch. You know what I mean? Because it's been a little bit, been a few years, and it's fun to rediscover for sure. I mean, I know I rediscovered it prepping for this panel, so it was fun to sort of see it, during quarantine and everything. Totally fun. Jonathan, any weirdest thing that you've taken up or done?
Yeah, no, I haven't taken up too many new hobbies. I'd say the weirdest thing is grocery shopping. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a different experience these days, no, nothing too peculiar. I'm here in West Hollywood as well, but I'm sneaking back up to Canada in a couple of days just to go where it's a little bit safer, a little quieter. Yeah.
Torrance, Jonathan, do you have to quarantine when you go back? Is there a border?
Yeah. 14-day mandatory quarantine, which is enforced and monitored, which is good, which is how it should be. They should take it all very seriously, and I'm sure I'll be going crazy, locked in a room for 14 days, but that'll be all right.
Where are you from in Canada?
Toronto.
Where are you headed? Toronto.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, to be honest, Vancouver and Toronto might be the first places like officially back for shooting. So it's not a bad place to kind of hunker down.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ottawa first for a shoot, and then I'm going to head to Toronto after that. So I'll be excitedly seeing what, PPE looks like on set. I think they're going to just CGI it out. No, I'm kidding.
Well, stay safe when you do start. And thanks for coming in and tuning in right now.
Always PPE on set.
What's that? Shit, Torrance. Oh, I swore.
I think, Jonathan, we always see your set.
Yeah, you do always see my PPE on set. We always have to CGI my PPE.
PP jump. Torrance.
This is the best. I think the joke was even funnier that it kind of is coming through. Sort of, like,
Torrance, that was so funny, but it was like the hiccup made it so
in this entire time of every day hearing about
my comic timing is improved. But
I've never heard that joke. I've never heard the PP thing. It's genius. The one I heard today, which was on John Oliver last night, is the mask debate. Many people are having a mask debate, and all the news are talking about mask debating. Endless mask debating through the country. Many people mask debating. Always.
Craig, that's a classic. Craig, that's a classic, though. You haven't heard that one before? That's a classic joke. Mass debating.
There's actually the mass debate, which is
that's true. That's true. It's so funny. Alan, tell us a little about where you're tuning in from, and then again, Bettina wants to know the weirdest thing that you sort of taken up or has happened to you during quarantine.
No, but I'm in Toronto, but the weirdest thing that's happened to me is like my connection to all of my friends through this.
Yeah.
Like this is where it happens, where we're like where Torrance goes offline and I contact him through this. I was like, Torrance, so long. And it was so nice to contact you through this. And that's it. But that's the weirdest thing is that Zoom has connected me with everybody.
Yeah. And
I think we've all done some Zoom birthdays at this point,
Yeah. And the birthdays too, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, like I've connected with so many, like you, Jonathan, and and the movies that you've done. Anyway, it was just amazing, like to see what you guys have done through Zoom, because I'm not on time so much with, but like every single person here, I've been in connection with through Zoom, not through Zoom, but through these in-home conventions.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and again, speaking on behalf of the fans, we so appreciate you all doing this. I know it's a short time out of your day, but it means so much to the folks that are out there, working, not working, dealing with kids or family or whatever situation people are in. You can see there's just people tuning in from around the world that might not normally get to a physical Comic-Con, able to see you all, in your home, sharing the same experience. So again,
well, we're so grateful to all the fans of the show. I mean, I think it's so special and so wonderful. Obviously, it's so great for us to reconnect with each other here, and then also to still be receiving so much love and so much support. These few years later, it's just it means a lot. So thank you, everyone who's tuning in and and sending in questions and all of this stuff. We really appreciate it. Thanks for still loving the show.
Yeah, that's a great segue, Jonathan, because that was my next question. And I want to check in with Torrance. Torrance, how you doing down there? Can you hear us all right? I don't want to exclude you.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Torrance, are you okay?
Yeah, he might be underwater. It sounds a little like you're underwater, Torrance. That's the only problem. It's sort of in and out, fuzzy.
Hang on.
We can actually hear you when you stop your video. You come through pretty clear. And sometimes if you want to call back in through your phone too, or something like that, that often helps.
I was thinking that maybe I could try that. No,
he's gone.
I'm here. I'm just trying to get it. The thing is, I can hear you guys perfectly, but I have no communicating that to you.
Torrance, gone.
Let me try on my phone internet.
Torrance, text me. I'll text you back, and I'll relay every message to the fans. Okay?
we've had people call in via other people's phones before, and we just hold the phone up to the screen.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
We're ready then. Let's talk while Torrance is getting set up, and we feel bad. I mean, he was perfect right before we started, and we'll get him in here.
Yeah, he's not perfect now.
But I do want to talk about the fans. My gosh, like I said, we've been doing a ton of these, and fans always reach out. They're like, please bring this cast, and the sheer amount of people that were like, we love Rain, like bring Rain on, for a show that's been like off for I guess like three or 4 years now, right? 2007, I think it was. 4 seasons, to have such a huge like cult following that has stuck with it. Nice. Is it calling in?
That's okay. Torrance right now. Torrance, so you can hear us, right? But
yeah, well, now he's moving. Now his face is moving.
Okay, but so he needs to do what I did, right? Like turn off his computer and then restart it.
I think we might be good money right now.
No, we can't hear him.
He's not.
Can you see me or hear me?
We can see you, and your voice is slightly slowed down and delayed.
Your voice is like weirdly off.
Yeah, it's at
least it happens. There's always one, There's always one person that Zoom picks to not like, Yeah.
Torrance, the best thing might just be to completely go out, come back in. We'll obviously see you in the waiting room, and we'll let you back in. Just like restart everything.
No, we won't let you back in, but just do it anyway.
Yeah. Alan will text you what we missed.
Yeah,
what you missed.
let me do it on my.
Oh, Johnny, you're a funny fucker. Sorry.
Let's talk about the fans. Craig, Jonathan said it's been about the fans. Tell us about the sort of like resurgence of the fandom of Reign and people just like still loving it after it's ended.
The thing that sort of, I'm old and used to that idea that you do a show, it goes to where people watch it, they care about it during that time, then it finishes and they sort of forget about it. But with Netflix, this show just keeps on going. And the thing that amazes me is back in the days when you could travel, I would be in sort of a random country somewhere and people would come up recognizing me from the show because Netflix, it plays around the world. It's dubbed into every language on earth. So people are, and it's it was such a wonderful, escapist, lush, beautiful show. And it's just so deliciously watchable. And there's a heck of a lot of it. So I love the fact that we can make something and it continues to be appreciated and loved and watched. So, and the very exciting thing is I sent to a number of these guys is Brian Cox.
Yeah, Brian Cox.
Who's in Succession. He's been locked down in Scotland. And, he's a grumpy old bastard, but his thing was like, well, I've been doing this and reading and stuff. I'm also watching a show about Mary Queen of Scots. It's nothing to do with her. It's utter nonsense, but it's wonderful. I love it.
Yes. That's the ultimate achievement, Brian Cox. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And I said 2007 before. I meant 2017, just 3 years ago. Sure. Alan, reaction to the fan love, the continued fan love for the show?
Well, Megan follows. She lives next, like very close to me, and her son lives very close to me, and she is in my bubble, and so her and I spend time together, which is great.
That's
but awesome. that must blow people's minds if you're going out for a walk together. People go,
which we do, and like we feigned like she was outside of my window, but she was not. She was just outside my window. Oh, here comes Torrance. Sorry.
Yeah.
Torrance coming back in.
Yeah, no, he's just he's trying to switch over to his phone, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But no, it's just really weird for them because really, like Russell, Megan's son. And Megan, we live within maybe 5 minutes of each other.
Wonderful.
And like we sit here because Johnny, you're like down in LA.
Yeah, I'm in LA right now. Yeah.
Right. But Megan is here.
Yeah.
And her son, Russell, is there. Her daughter is in LA with you guys.
Yeah, Lila's down here.
But like Megan and I she was just at my house the other night.
Wonderful.
And so like I have sort of a great relationship that way. So we've got like two Torrances. That was.
I think he's out. Torrance, can you hear us? Okay, can we hear you?
I can hear you guys fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect.
On
this, this is perfect. Yes.
Success. You actually look even better.
I could hear and see you guys perfectly the whole time, which was extra funny for me. It felt like. I don't know. This is kind of dark, but it felt like being sort of like in a vegetative state where like inside everything is going on, but everybody's like, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?"
Pull the boy.
You
pull the plug. Pull the plug. Switch him off. Do not resuscitate.
Right. So we're going over. Spectrum's having a little fit over here in Burbank, I guess. So that's I'm on beautiful T-Mobile 5G, just
Torrance, you
spreading
actually look,
all the I don't know, controlling my mind and giving me corona.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Love that
goodness.
5G.
That's a rabbit hole. Yeah. Torrance, you actually look like they're very crisp. The camera on your phone is very nice.
Phone cameras, like the front-facing camera on these older Mac laptops, are really low resolution and kind of bad, and phone cameras are great, so that'll do it.
Yeah. Alan, I want to just quickly go back. You mentioned me again. Adelaide also was potentially going to join us, but then had some things she had to deal with in Australia. So we wish her the best of luck with some stuff. We're hoping to get the women on later in the month. We'd love to have you gentlemen join us back. But a big question comes out from Bonnie Toit. This show is all centered around these strong female characters, and Bonnie is just wondering if you could have played one of the identifying as female roles on the show. Which would you have picked? It's a fan question coming. Yeah. Hands down.
I think most of us would probably go Megan, but
yeah, I mean that's what I've said before. I think the two characters that I would have loved to.
Do we not?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, Catherine and Narcisse are like the juiciest characters. Like the villains that are always sort of pulling the strings and and making stuff happen. I mean that's what I would say. For both male and female.
As long as I don't have to.
Sorry,
I was just saying, as long as I don't have to play a character that kisses me, so that automatically rules out Mary and Kenna, because that would just be weird,
In lockdown, you've been standing at that mirror every day, going.
Yeah, that's sort of leading into the question I wasn't able to answer. Is what's the weirdest hobby I've taken up?
Kissing yourself.
Good segue. Good callback, Torrance. You came back strong on your new device.
The one thing that I don't regret, I'm very glad that not a woman, is their costumes. While they were so beautiful and grand and lush, just the most uncomfortable things in the world. So those women were strapped into crap and layers, and so that aspect I much prefer wearing the pants and.
And both strapped in and exposed to the elements in the brutal Canadian winter that we were so fortunate to get to film in.
You mentioned the costumes and everything. All four of you have been involved in these either historical dramas or fantasy pieces. What is it about that genre that you love the most? You know what I mean? Whether it's again the fantasy of Lord of the Rings or the historical drama of the Tudors. What is the thing you love most about that genre?
I mean, I think personally for me, I just think, we had such amazing costumes, such beautiful sets, we had, horses that we got to work with, battle scenes, all of these different things. And, it's so much fun to get to play in this world of make-believe that we do. And having those pieces and those touch points just makes it that much more immersive as an actor and that much more fun, so it's sort of, it makes the experience even more rewarding.
Yeah, tied into that, I think fantasy and sci-fi generally, I guess in some ways there's more you have to imagine because you're doing maybe possibly more green screen work, but at the same time you have costumes and you have props and you have these otherworldly things that remind you to play and remind you that you're to live in a different world for a while. And sometimes when you're just in a t-shirt and jeans and doing a thing, that line gets blurred. Sometimes it's fun to kind of get up and play pretend.
Totally.
There's sort of a bigger, often the point of fantasy or sci-fi is to examine what it is to be human and all those everyday things, but to expand it into a larger sort of on a larger canvas. So you get to play with larger ideas, great sort of into the world of metaphor sometimes, and it's really fun to play. It probably goes the closest to going back to when you're a kid and you're playing dress up and that kind of stuff, which is a joy.
Alan, how about for you? Just being a part of this sort of a piece set in history.
A piece set. I mean, like doing the Tudors. So I lived in Ireland for a couple of years, like just before Torrance went out. But I also live like Rossa, Sutherland. That like they have a child. They live down the street from me. And so that's just been, I don't know, it in terms of my identity of doing period pieces, it honestly started from doing theater. And so it was so great for me to be part of a couple of shows to, period pieces, and also too, like to have this friendship. And now there's like this weird organic way of like we have all of these conventions together, and especially with Torrance, Like
you can't say my name without laughing.
The day that you were in the van, right? And you were there and you were like, hey, I was in the Tudors too. I was in the Tudors. And we were at the same hotel.
Yeah, it was on the pilot. It was the same crew that had worked
and then Megan was dropped off. I was like, I need to talk to her because she's playing my wife. Anyway, so it was that. So like when you sort of collaborate in this way, and especially as Canadians or New Zealanders, like whatever it is, even with like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, like we just have this way of having this productivity. And it was just that one day, and you were sitting in the back seat, and she's like, yeah, no. I was like, she's playing my wife. And you said to me, yeah, you're playing my father, and I was also in the Tudors. Anyway, that's just how it goes. Like in this weird.
That's exactly how it went.
It's a weird occupation that we have.
Well, and it's so
the
cool.
weirdest.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, Alan, going from the Tudors to Reign. The thing that I think, and a lot of fans, the reason why we love the show Reign so much, even as a historical drama fan, is and Craig, you mentioned it with Brian Cox, is it is not historically accurate at all. But
shut up, it's perfectly accurate.
But it owns it. But it owns it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's. I hate to use the word camp, but you know what I mean? Like it owns that.
Right. I think that.
Yeah, I think that, it's something that was, when it was on the air, was just sort of like a little bit ahead of its time, and sort of the sort of genre melding, pop that it is, that, we see with, shows like Dickinson Now and like all that kind of stuff. And so I think that it was so many different shows wrapped up into one. It was, romance, political drama, like, fantasy piece, like all of these different kinds of things. Yeah. And so I think it's something that's been so much more suited to the Netflix binging, model, and so I think that we were able to sort of have a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad people are having fun with it now.
I think my favorite word,
that's totally on the spot, and I just have to agree with like what you said, like with Brian Cox, like when I met him, I bought him dinner, and now my favorite show on the planet is Succession.
It's amazing. Wonderful show.
And that's my world. And then I have this life with Johnny and Torrance, and it's just, you know what I mean?
Totally. No, I think that one of the things that is so fortunate, and we're all of us very lucky that we've gotten to work on a number of various projects, but there was something very special that happened, with this one that happens only every now and then, and we're so fortunate that we had the amazing group of people that we did, and this is, it's a friendship, and it's a relationship, and it's a family, in this industry when it's at its best, but we don't always get that. And in this situation, we really fortunately did. And so it's so nice to get to, keep the train rolling.
This one,
I draw one. I point this out, that when you say it was not very historically accurate, weirdly, a lot of the bizarrest stuff was actually from history. So the sex
Queen
horse,
of the Bean,
the sex horse, the Crown Prince of Spain falling down the stairs in a sex accident and going a bit crazy, that happened. So a lot of the really kind of bizarre stuff that we would read and go, oh, that's ridiculous. We'd go to Megan because she always, and we'd be like, no, it happened here in my book. So I like to think of ourselves as a documentary.
So, but Megan, honestly, and Megan walked through my door and she goes, do you remember, Alan, when you, and can I say this, when you fucked that girl out the window? Like, how does that happen?
And on TV.
That is the point from the fans. That's the point that everyone just goes back to, I think, as like, cool, we know where this show's going from now on. Yeah.
Like, oh, now we know what we're watching.
Yeah. No, but you're right, Craig. They take real things that happen and just blow them out a little bit, and then you get this like cool, fun series. This question comes from fan Janine Jones. Is just curious, and you're sort of talked on it a little bit about like not the historical accuracy, but the research you did. You said you go to Megan a lot to really decide whether it was real or not. Like, was there a lot of historical research you did on that time?
No. Research that. It just happened. It was written. We were giving a script, and like when you get the pink, that's it. There's no more changes, right?
Well, I mean, we did. There was a substantial amount of rewrites and things that we did get, and we would also definitely get scripts very late, just because of the process of shooting. A network drama like this. Sure. It's like. We're getting scripts the night before the episode starts shooting. We have a table read of that script after we've already started shooting the episode in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's like the pace is astounding. I think that there was definitely some research.
Fucking a person out the window.
Jonathan's trying to give a very nice answer, Alan.
I'm trying.
Imagine. You're
very
just,
much.
Are you going to do it?
Are you a Leith King Henry conversation?
This beautiful stunt double. I'm like, are you okay with this? And she's like, yeah, I think.
Like, yeah, I've done this 10 times before.
Just bring on her back.
Yeah.
People always ask about your favorite scene. No, go ahead, Jonathan.
No, I was just saying that I think it's Catherine who ends up having to clean up after it.
Always have a carpet handy. Roll those bodies up. Yeah.
Alan, what was the historic research you did on King Henry II to prepare for that scene? It's fine.
Yeah.
Is there anything a lot of fans have very specific questions in terms of like where characters went? I want to just go through a bunch of them, and then the question will be like what you wish you could have seen happen. You know what I mean? If the series continued. But this is from Amber for Torrance. How did you like your relationship with Mary? Adeline Kane, and where would you like to have seen that play out? For Alan, what was your favorite scene with Catherine? And then again, for the other gentleman, just sort of like, where would you have liked to seen your characters go? Let's start with Torrance. Again, the question is, your relationship with Adeline Kane, Mary. Adelaide.
For me, the one place that I kind of wish that we'd been able to explore a bit more, I loved the sort of arc and the love triangle going on at the beginning of the show. And then I always thought that she should end up with Francis. But then what I really wanted was there, like sometime in the next few seasons, for there to be like at least a moment that just like really hurt that didn't work out, or like a little bit more of that. Because we did kind of, after it happened, we kind of considered it resolved in the timeline of the show. And sure. As an actor, I wanted that to be unresolved, and I wanted there to be a bit more meat on the bone there. But, these things can go in a million different directions. And so ultimately, I'm happy with what happened.
Right. But awesome. As like the whole story started, right? Like you and I, like you were my favorite son. Mm-hmm. So when Adelaide.
Clearly still the case.
Yeah. And so but it didn't happen because you just wanted to be with her. But Francis you were my favorite, right?
Yeah, but ultimately she chose Francis. So and that's kind of, historically that happens and I don't exist. So I know
way to poke a scab, Alan.
Choose Francis. She chose you.
No, she chose Francis in the end.
Yeah, who did she dream about? Who did she go and hop to bed with at the end in Ghostland?
In heaven.
Right, yeah. That's it.
You got to go binge watch.
Never mind. Move on.
Al, the question for you is favorite moments with Catherine and sort of how you saw that relationship play out.
The whole dirty laundry. Every single moment of that episode when I tossed the poor lady out the window. Really?
At least you said toss this time, so that was I guess.
I did, right? Like how is that not like the best? Like the best freaking TV ever.
I must say that moment, because when I came and joined, I hadn't seen the first season, so I was binging on. They gave me the DVD.
Yeah,
and I think it's like episode 4 or 5, maybe. It's quite early in the season, and I've been, putting these things in my hotel room and having to get up to speed. And the first episodes are like, meh. And then there's a great scene where they poison some gold, and it's fantastic. And then there was the tossing out the window, and it truly was this moment where I went, I'm not sure about the show, and then watched that and went, okay, this is the best show in the world, and I'm so happy to be part of it.
Like I'm humping, right? Like I'm humping,
Alan.
Right? Just like naturally, like enjoying myself, and she accidentally falls out the window. It was really.
It's like we're watching it all over again together. It's beautiful portrayal.
Yeah,
like
truly, and all the great moments in television.
Moments of
Jonathan, any moments stand out for you, or things you wish could have happened? If we continue.
I mean, in some, there was a moment where it sort of looked like Torrance and I were going to have this like buddy cop storyline, and it ended up only lasting a couple of episodes. I really would have loved to have had that continue a bit more.
That was fun. Yeah, it was a cool little tangent for us.
And and I think it's tricky, especially when we come towards the ending. Like I'm so happy with the ending for Leith as as it stands now. But I know like as the show was ending, they were trying to because they didn't know if it was ending. They're trying to keep things open, and I know there was like the possibility of like trying to have Claude stop the wedding that I was going to have and sort of like break in on that and then have us end up together, and I think that that's something that I would have loved to have had that little bit of closure, but I'm also so happy with, the sort of the final episode that I did, because the final episode that I got to shoot was directed by Megan. And so it was so great having her sort of do my last episode. The ones that she directed were some of my favorite to work on.
Oh. And sorry to interject, like I wish I was directed by Megan. Really.
Yeah.
Like she's,
I'm sure it'll happen on something else.
Like such a star as a director, and that, and Craig knows that, and Torrance knows that, but I never had that. I mean, she sits in my living room every day, but I don't have her as a director. Mm-hmm. But I had her as my wife.
And obviously shout out to Stephanie and Laurie as well, just for creating such a unique series, and we wish the best of luck to them at their pursuits. Craig, you were kind of reacting to Alan's scene, and I didn't even realize it's stuff that you would have liked to seen, or like favorite scenes like within the series itself.
There was so much stuff that I just never thought I would see that would pop up in scripts.
Sure.
I do feel, and I think for a lot of us, the speed of the end, there was a possibility of a couple more eps to soothe out tying up the season, which nature of television we didn't get. So there was, if we went to another series, there was this totally balmy storyline where basically Megan and I were going to be the co-parents of the Antichrist. So literally the witch was going to be pregnant with some commingling of Megan and my
absolutely,
and the Antichrist would be born in the French court. So I just basically I would pay my own money to shoot like a couple more episodes.
I would too.
It's like
CW took me under their wing, but I would kill to work with you guys where I came back by accident.
Oh my God, yeah.
Once the devil's in charge, you can come back anytime, Alan. We just bring you from the dead.
I did that.
That's the cool thing. The tone of the show means you could do things like that. If you were being strictly historically accurate, you can't bring people back from the dead or have weird witch babies and stuff. But when you do a show that's essentially historical fan fiction, which is my favorite way I heard it described, you can do whatever you want, and that's the kind of show we had.
I mean, fans would love it.
Shadowhunters.
There's already a lot of people in the chat saying they would donate money for more rain.
Oh my god!
yeah. We'll do Zoom rain.
I've done it in rain. I've done it in Shadowhunters, and I'll do it in what? Star Trek 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
By the way, speaking of, for those who miss rain, have you guys watched The Great? It's amazing.
Oh my god, it's so good.
What?
It's The Great. It's
The
Great
Great
and Peter. Yeah,
Peter the Terrible. You know,
really good.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Not as good as us.
I was gonna mention that before when you talked about but is that similar type of feel of historically fanfic, like you said, Torrance. It's like there are moments in history that did happen, but then you don't know how they really played out or what the comics were. Yeah. Well,
I think both have sort of a contemporary lens that they're being shown through as well. Sure. In terms of the music that's being brought in, some of the way that they distill the issues and things that are happening between characters. It's a lot of fun. We watched it as well.
Awesome. Gentlemen, we are out of time. We spent a lot of time reflecting on people falling out of windows and getting Torrance some Wi-Fi. Well, there's a lot of there's a couple fun, silly, just fan questions. So I want to do sort of like a rapid fire just to get a couple of them in. But quick note to the fans. Thank you again for watching. This has been a hilarious blast. And whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later in the week, just know if you've got more specific questions for each of these actors, you can purchase those one-on-one video chats with them, either one or all four. Definitely take advantage of those. They will be on sale until Friday night if you're watching it later this week, and then that'll happen on Saturday. It's so cool to have them here live, free, broadcasting to folks from around the world, but definitely take advantage of those as well. Let's get to some of these quick, just fun questions. Some of them are rain related, some of them are just person related, but they're all fun and simple. Chantel SM, people always want to know this. The show's over. There was a lot of cool costumes, a lot of cool props and weapons. What did you steal from set, if anything? Or what would you have wanted to steal from sets? Craig, you got something. It looks like you got something in your head.
I was taking my boots. But then I got drunk on the last day we were at studio, and I left them there in costume.
Almost got his boots. Jonathan, something you would have liked?
Yeah, I didn't get to take anything, sadly either. I would have loved to have rode off on a horse. That would have been great,
Steal a horse.
Torrance, anything?
I didn't take anything. I don't know. I think it would have been cool to maybe take home one of the costumes, like the brown one.
Was all your costume points.
Alan, you seem like nothing. All right, nothing. Genie 4. Go ahead.
I wanted to take home the brown one. That's it.
One of Torrance's brown ones.
Torrance, that was the best answer ever. The brown one.
Here's the next one. Genie 4. If you could play any historical figure, real life historical figure, if you could play one.
Rude. No, we're not going there. But
no, like the past.
Yeah.
Any historical figures out there? Not everybody has to answer.
Brown costume. Like you had the most beautiful, best brown costumes, I guess. Right? I guess I had the most beautiful black costumes.
You did.
I did.
A lot of leather on our show.
Sexy, right?
Particularly good at a window. Really good black by the window.
I can't tell if Alan didn't hear the question or is moving beyond the question.
Yes, I did. I'm listening to Craig, and that's what I'm laughing because it was that outfit. Yeah.
Any other actual historical time periods or figures you would want to play? Anyone else out there?
Who? Me? I don't know. King Henry VIII, I guess.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, Henry VIII is a cool one. He's been done many times, and I don't know that I'd have faith in my ability to do it, but he's a really cool figure, obviously.
Yeah.
I played his best friend, right?
Yeah.
The character that I've always, I would love to play, either, King Arthur or one of the Knights of the Round. That's something that I've always sort of had in the back. Again, characters that we've seen many times, but hopefully I can bring it back at some point.
Nice.
Craig, any historical moment you'd like to be in or act in?
I've just been reading about Napoleon, and crazy monster. I think someone like him would be. You don't see a lot of him. I guess you do in France.
No.
So maybe him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sure.
I was gonna say you're too tall.
Last quick question from Abby Saunders. What's your pizza topping? What is your go-to pizza topping? Craig, go-to pizza topping.
Diablo, hot, spicy with jalapenos.
Nice. Torrance.
Let's go Hawaiian, ham and pineapple.
Ooh,
Yes.
Nice. Jonathan.
Yeah, like spicy salami, roasted red peppers, and garlic.
Ooh, that was very, very specific. I like that. Alan.
Extra cheese, massive extra cheese. Is that okay?
Cheese. Yeah, there's no wrong answer, sir. I'm not exactly sure what's about to happen. We should probably
flexing on that.
We should probably cut this before we get too far. Yeah.
The man just standing up to walk my dog.
Of course. Gentlemen, this is why the fans wanted this, because you all are amazing. Oh jeez. Oh god. How do I? There's no producer even to give the signal to.
Yeah. No plug to yank.
I can just
imagine
end the meeting.
Brown leather wrapped around it.
Sculpting.
Oof.
Let's do some final shout outs to the fans. The fans are obsessed with the show. They were obsessed when it came out. They're brand new fans.
That was really, really funny. That was really fucking funny. What did you do? What was that?
This is your final shout out, Alan.
Yeah, we're doing final shout outs.
This could be it.
That was really funny.
Well, I'll take over with a final shout out. Thank you again so much to the fans. Thank you so much for all the support. I can't tell you how much we appreciate, these wonderful opportunities to laugh together.
And yeah, for me, thank you for, as you're thanking us for coming and doing. I tell you, it is a joy because, especially in this time when we're all kind of separated, to actually hang out with you guys that I can see, but also to know there's people out there. I miss the conventions an enormous amount.
I agree with that too, right? Absolutely. Right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's glorious for us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Of course. You guys have been a blast. Torrance,
I'll echo the sentiments of everybody else here and just say that this is a wonderful time. In some cases, this is our only opportunity to get us all together to talk again, and we can do it a couple times a year, and it's always so good to see everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hell yeah.
Torrance, I'm glad we got you in. I'm glad we got you in after the Wi-Fi there. Alan.
Me too.
Alan.
Yes.
Final words for all the fans watching out there from around the world.
God, it's just always what? Do I need to do this again?
Yeah, just do it again.
I think we're probably good.
I'm asking for it. I just keep pitching to him. I'm like, let's see what happens now.
Really?
It's one more. Yeah. This has been amazing, gentlemen. We have to have you back once Adelaide and Megan. We'd love to have you come back. Later in the month.
So Megan,
yeah.
We're gonna be back together. And
perfect.
Craig, no more Torrance. Torrance, honestly, you are. Oh my God, you are the best.
Thank you, darling.
Everyone watching out there at Wizard World Virtual Experiences, this has been a paddle of the lifetime. I hope you watch this on replay. I hope you go back and watch Rain on replay and then follow up with this. I think it's a perfect companion.
Yeah.
One more big round of emojis to these amazing gentlemen, Craig Parker, Alan Van Sprang, Jonathan Keltz, and Torrance Coombs.
Woo! Love you all.
Hey, this is Alex Malari Jr., and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your Emperor commands it. Thanks for watching.